In Danny Duffy's last start, he beat the Yankees to begin the current homestand. Tonight, he gets the Red Sox one night after Boston scored 11 runs. Royals baseball is next on Fox Sports Kansas City. Royals baseball comes to you from Kauffman Stadium on a great night to be outside and at the ballpark for Game 2 between the Royals and the Red Sox. Hi, everyone. Welcome back to the ballpark with Rex Riddler. I'm Ryan Lefevre. The Red Sox took Game 1 last night with 4 home runs. Danny Duffy pitches for the Royals tonight, coming off a win against the Yankees.
Okay, Danny Duffy, they're going to give you the rock. Go out there and throw it like you can. And if you do, and you use our Kia pitching reports, you'll attack with that blazing fastball you have. Control Ortiz and Gonzalez because you're capable. Ortiz hits good against lefties. Get the starters straight. If you're the man for it, show us you can.
And he'll have his hands full as the Red Sox scored 11 runs. They had 16 hits to go with the 4 home runs. We'll have more from Kauffman Stadium right after this. Lottery. When you play, students win. And by your Kansas City Chevy dealers, the official vehicle of the Kansas City Royals. Danny Duffy faces a veteran lineup with power, but it's not the first time. Joel will have more after this.
been their best. Joel Goldberg back at Kauffman Stadium. And Danny's been challenged recently, learning as he goes and doing well against some of the better offenses in baseball. Detroit, Toronto, and New York his last 3 starts, and combined for those 4.86 ERA. When he faced those 3 teams combined last year, the ERA was 9.00. So making improvements, but the key for him tonight, go deeper into the game. The Royals have had starters go 6 innings just twice so far this month. Danny Duffy throws the first pitch next on Fox Sports City.
And home phone provider of the Kansas City Royals. And here's the Red Sox lineup tonight. It is the exact same lineup as last night against Jonathan Sanchez, and why not, as the Red Sox came up with 11 runs on 16 hits, 2 hits shy of their season high, and 4 home runs, which is 1 shy of their season high. Duffy in there with a fastball to Mike Aviles, who was 1 for 6 and had his 4th stolen base of the year.
Strike 1 all night long. That's what Duffy wants. Good hard fastball he's got. It'll top 97, 98 sometimes. He's going to sink his fastball a little bit off that two-seamer. He's got a good hard curve and a nice changeup against righties. Pitching against one of his friends. Talked about how excited he would be to face his buddy.
2 hops out to Escobar. So a good start, a ground ball out for Duffy. And now the rest of the Royals defensively tonight, brought to you by Ford.
Stays down like he just did, gets some early count outs. He's got a chance to go pretty deep. 12th start for Dyson. He looks like he's doing a good job. He's settling in center field. Frenchie and Gordon got good throwing arms, and watch out for Getz and Escobar. They can roll a pair with the best of them. Solid gloves on the corners, no question. Hosmer and Moustakas.
And now ball 1 to Dustin Pedroia. And when we were looking at Danny Duffy's season numbers, 2 home runs in 23 innings. So that'll come in handy tonight, as Pedroia hit one of the 4 home runs last night. An impressive home run for a player his size to the opposite field. Another perfect night at the ballpark. 73 degrees, a clear sky, a gentle breeze from left to right. We started on time at 7:10, and the time and temp is brought to you by the parking spot at KCA. Good pitch over the outside, 1-2.
Okay, last time out, Duffy pitched well against the Yankees. Had a good tempo. He was able to finish guys off with his curveball and also that blazing fastball. He needs to trust his stuff. Go at these guys with that heater. Challenge him, right, hit that catcher's glove.
Tried to get that pitch inside, and still 1-2. So Thursday against the Yankees, he had a very good fastball. 5 of those 6 strikeouts coming on the fastball. He said after the game he really didn't have his curve, and that start came after 11 days rest, after skipping a start because of a strain to his left elbow, which he and the Royals say are just fine.
A couple things that would impress me in his last outing were his tempo, number 1, but his body language, number 2, was really good. He kept a straight poker face, didn't show any sign of getting bummed out or disappointment, and didn't cheerlead either. Hitters feed off of both of those emotions. The way the starting staff has gone so far for Ned Yost, Duffy has a chance to be one of the bright spots this year. If he can continue to stay within himself and not get too excited, let his ball take off.
Another foul ball, and Pedroia has fouled off 5 in this at bat. And eventually, hoping that he'll be able to manage his effort, and Ned Yost on a few occasions has brought up Justin Verlander as a young pitcher, would come out throwing 96, 97, 98 in the first inning, and then would just run out of gas. Where now Verlander low 90s early as Moustakas throws out Pedroia, but then still has plenty of gas in the tank when you get to the 6th, 7th, and 8th innings.
And it's hard to learn that when you're young like Duffy and you throw hard. Most guys that have a mid-90s to upper 90s fastball, they want to blow it by guys. They're in that macho stage. Oh yeah, I'm new on the scene, I'm going to show you how hard I can throw. And then after you get a few years under your belt and you realize that striking guys out aren't as important as just getting outs, then you start to adjust like Verlander has. And so they're trying to get Duffy to learn that now as an early young pitcher, and it's coming.
And he has the ability to throw 91, 92 miles an hour early on and still be effective.
And he'll find out how many fits that throws to hitters by just changing speeds on his fastball. And he'll have 97 left in his tank in the 6th and 7th innings. In Verlander's case, he's learned how to go all the way. But he's a mature pitcher and one of the greatest in our era.
3-0 on Ortiz, who had 3 more hits last night to push his average to 380. Talked to him before the game, and he said he lost 25 pounds during the offseason. So we thought he looked trimmer than in years past, and indeed he is.
And he's hitting a clean .432 off of lefties this year. And I talked with Dave Magadan, their hitting coach, and he said it's because he's using the whole field. He used to try to pull everything. That's why he's so good early.
And another base hit. He got around on a fastball that was clocked at 97. He'll try for 2 on Francoeur. And David Ortiz now against Danny Duffy, going back to last year, is 3 for 3 with 3 doubles.
He likes the gasoline. He likes it hard. Look at that ball, was 2 inches on the inside part of the plate. So Big Papi says come to Papi when it's regard to that hard fastball. And I guarantee you, I thought it was 10 pounds at least, but 25 pounds lighter. He's lighter on his feet. He's more comfortable. He'll be durable and be able to hopefully last a whole year for the Red Sox.
And he said it really had very little to do with baseball. He's just getting older. His cholesterol was high. This was more just a good overall health. Took some foods out of his diet, and the result was 25 fewer pounds when he got to spring training. No balls and 2 strikes to Cody Ross.
Yeah, no doubt this time of the year we have just seen in this series alone 2 of the best hitters so far and the hottest, and Jeter and Ortiz. One from the right, one from the left.
One and 2 on Cody Ross, who faces Duffy for the first time.
That's a good 0-2 pitch. Backed him off. Now it sets up a changeup. That's how he retired Pedroia.
Curveball strikes him out. Red Sox are scoreless in the first. And no real big changes from last night's game other than the bottom third of the order. Brian Pena batted 7th and was the catcher. Humberto Quintero is back at the plate tonight, and he will bat 9th as the Royals face for the first time as a starter Daniel Bard.
All right, the Royals, they want to be aggressive on him early. Okay, they've got to have Hosmer to get started. With this big guy hitting, it's going to make a big difference. Big hits with runners in scoring position. He's giving up a high number when guys get out there.
Gerard Dyson had 3 hits last night and scored a run. He's hitting .326. Couple of things the Royals really wanted Dyson to focus on this year: getting the ball on the ground and working more to the opposite field. 2 of his 3 hits were base hits to left, and the other hit was a bunt single, and he pulls this one on the ground, and Pedroia throws him out. Now look at the Red Sox defensively, brought to you by Ford.
All right, Marlon Byrd goes out there in center field. He misjudged the ball out there, but that will tell you it was a little bit of some wind difficulties. Pedroia, he wears the gold 2 years. Shopping, he's getting back-to-back starts to give Saltalamacchia some time off after he caught all 17 innings before the Red Sox got here yesterday. There's the kid that had quite a night last night, Will Middlebrooks, third baseman. Get used to hearing that name. If he continues to hit like he's hitting, you won't be able to take him out of the lineup.
Can't think of a better 2 games for a guy who's in the first week of his big league career. He hits a grand slam
on Sunday against Baltimore. That was his first major league home run, and then he backs that up last night with a 3-run home run and a 2-run home run.
Okay, there's a changeup there. Daniel Bard, he throws hard. He likes it anywhere from 92 to 98. He's starting now. He used to really throw at 98 every pitch when he came out of the pen, but now that he's starting, he takes it a little off. He's got a 2-seam sinker, hard slider, and that changeup he just threw Gordon.
And Alex's bat goes flying toward right field. Shopik thought it was a fair ball as Alex fouled it off of his leg.
Yeah, he did. That's Bard getting in his kitchen. That's a term that's used in baseball. When you get sawed off like that, you'll go back to the, ooh, that hit off his knee. Looks like a little bit above his knee. There's a little ball mark there, it looks like. The super slow motion will show it. Yeah, there wasn't a ball right there. There was a ball mark now. Yeah, hit him in the quad, but you know what? I described those quads as massive and strong. That didn't hurt him none.
This may have surprised him more than anything else.
Yeah.
You don't expect to get hit there when you take a swing.
No, better there than the knee. So go right back in there again. Good hard slider. He's a ground ball pitcher with his 2-seam sinker.
Still 2-2. What stands out for me, and he's only made 4 starts this year, but a guy who goes from the back end of the bullpen where you're mostly coming in, max effort, your pitch count really isn't a big concern because you're going to throw 1 inning. But he's been able to pace himself well, and he's averaging about 6 innings per start. Pedroia to the middle. So 2 ground balls to second base. Dyson and Gordon are down, and Billy Butler coming up.
Well, you know, they've got a ton of guys in the DL, and most of them are all pitchers. So Bard is kind of filling his spot until hopefully one of them or 2 of them come back. Daisuke Matsusaka, he's still in the picture. He's making some rehab starts and could possibly join their rotation maybe next week. It's not too far away.
Billy takes a strike, 0 for 3 with a walk last night, and the Red Sox biggest out on defense was Vicente Padilla getting Alex to ground into a double play in the 7th inning, and that was with the bases loaded and in a 1-run game. And then the Red Sox using that as motivation in the next half inning. They scored 4 runs to put the game away. Left field and down around the end of the bat. McDonald makes the play. Royals are 3 up and 3 down against Daniel Bard. Visited with Joel Goldberg before the game tonight, and let's go to Joel now.
Well, Ryan, we've seen him manage with the Rangers, the Mets. He's been over in Japan, and most recently up in the booth as a TV analyst. And I asked him if that work up in the booth helped him at all with this managing job.
If you're not in uniform, if you're not breathing it and fielding it and actually competing day to day, I don't think you really learn.
Just able to stay up with who the players are.
A little more of the, the Wikipedia of MLB.
This perhaps a much tougher job. Of course, we know that the television job, not an easy one either, but much more pressure being in Boston. Although, guys, he enjoyed himself today taking a tour of the Negro Leagues Baseball Museum with President Bob Kendrick. Called the museum spectacular, saying such an integral part of everything that goes on today. Highly recommending it to everyone. Big contingent of Red Sox personnel that went over there today. Ryan?
All right, thanks, Joel.
Joel, was he insinuating that that's the only place he could learn the game was down there in the dugout?
No, what I was trying to get him to say was, being in other clubhouses as a analyst, national analyst, if that was helping him at all, and he said no, not really.
Well, I can tell you that I was in that dugout in the minors and majors for 21 years. I learned a lot, but I've learned so much more sitting up here watching pitch by pitch than I ever would have learned in there.
You should go put on a fake disguise like a mustache and see if you can get to him.
Not my style.
Remember when he did that?
Yeah.
The Mets?
Yeah, that's him. That's his style. He's got that flamboyant personality.
You got a flamboyant personality.
I wouldn't say flamboyant with me. Would you, Ryan? Flamboyant? I would say energetic, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
Energetic,
enthusiastic,
yeah.
But not flamboyant. Look at Tim Cheetah.
Not flamboyant.
No. Flamboyant call, however.
No, but look at him. Does that body language tell you who's in authority?
Yes, it does.
Now, in his interpretation, he said he didn't try to swing at that.
Shallow right center, and Francoeur comes up to make the play. And a key for Danny Duffy will be to manage David Ortiz and Adrian Gonzalez. Ortiz, the left-hand batter, doubled in the first, and now Gonzalez flies out. And as we look at our Toyota League leaders, strikeouts per 9 innings among left-handed starters, Danny Duffy has the highest number of strikeouts per 9 innings. Better than Gio Gonzalez, Johan Santana, old school Cole Hamels, and others.
Yes, I like that definition, old school. With maybe a
couldn't resist. I'm
maybe,
sorry.
That's okay. Maybe a new school mentality by saying that he hit somebody intentionally. You never said that in the old days, in the old school.
That's the part that you don't tell people you're old school. You just show people you're old school, right? I mean, it's like the person who comes out and says, "I'll take the bullet for that." Well, if you're going to take the bullet for it, you just take the bullet. You don't go out there and brag that you're taking the bullet.
Okay, now Middlebrook said that he likes to look for the ball away. He's got long arms, and a guy like that likes to reach out and get fully extended and hits the ball to right field. He hit one on a homer in his first pitch last night. Duffy, he's staying out there on it.
3-2.
Except there's a little difference between Sanchez's fastball and Duffy's. Duffy's got a little more pop. 3-2, early, first time up, might want to challenge him.
And that's inside the line. So another extra base hit for Middlebrooks. He was already the first player in Red Sox history to have an extra base hit in his first 4 big league games, and now make it 5 in a row.
If he tried to swing and hit that ball out of the park, he would have swung and missed. Look where that ball's located. That ball was down and away with some fuzz on it. Only way he's going to hit that there is if he shortened up his swing and did exactly that. That's a good piece of hitting. Nothing Duffy did wrong there. Kid's just hot.
Reading and hearing some of Jonathan Sanchez's comments from last night's game, that he felt that Middlebrooks' home run into the right field corner had as much to do with luck as it did a bad pitch. Well, maybe another base hit like that from Middlebrooks shows us that he's got a lot of skills, not just going the other way, but being able to hit the ball up the right field line.
Wasn't thrilled with that comment of luck, but you know, he's a big leaguer. He can say what he wants to say, Sanchez. But you execute a pitch that's elevated about belt high on the outside part of the plate, to me is not a good pitch.
McDonald into left field, and Alex is there to make the catch. 2 down with Middlebrooks back to second base. The Fan of the Game sweepstakes is going on now at Olathe Fiat, and you could win a new Fiat 500 Pop. Finalists for the grand prize drawing will be announced here on Fox Sports Kansas City, and in July, one fan will win the Fiat 500 Pop. Look for rules and enter now at Olathe Fiat.
You know, I'd like to see a picture of that. I'm going to have to go to the dealership and see what that looks like. Sounds like it might have some pop.
That's the, I would think so if it's in the name. Is that the all-electric car, I believe? I think it's like all, it's not a hybrid, it's all electric.
I need more info. Okay, now, Red Sox hitting .307 as a team with runners in scoring position. It's a pretty good mark. Marlon Byrd, he's got a .255 average, but he's hitting .385 with runners out there.
Goes the other way. Middlebrooks does not run well. Francoeur throws great, so that was a bad matchup for Boston.
Well, third base coach Jerry Royster, he does his homework. He knows. And now they're going to come out and check on the youngster. Okay, Marlon Byrd, short swing. That's exactly how you hit a hard thrower. Just use your hands. Frenchie daring him to go. Now Middlebrooks got something going on with him.
Yeah, you know, my first reaction, and we haven't seen Middlebrooks. We've only seen him, and this is his second game against the Royals. Now, he was an outstanding high school football player, and he got a chance to go to Texas A&M before signing with the Red Sox. He looks athletic, but as soon as the base hit went into right field, I immediately looked at Middlebrooks and was surprised at how slow he was running from second to third, but maybe it's because his legs are not 100%.
You would hope that he would be smart enough to let them know if he did feel something in his legs, because it's a long season. You keep playing on something like that and you hurt yourself and can go on the DL.
And now Shopik drops it into center field to drive in the game's first run. So the number 8 and number 9 hitters keep things going for the Red Sox. Shopik drives in his 5th.
Okay, that's the third hit this inning, and they were all in his fastball, but you could tell the Red Sox were just trying to make contact. They weren't over swinging. And credit Dave Magadan, their hitting coach, for that game plan. You know, those were guys that just went up there and tried to play Pepper. Pepper is just trying to make contact with the ball with your hands. Just take your hands at the ball and look at the results. Short strokes produce a run. Now Aviles, I don't know if he'll take that same approach, because he likes to swing. Got 5 homers. He likes to swing it hard.
Curveball is low for ball 1, and Aviles grounded out to short in the first inning. You know, you hit a nerve when you're just describing what the Red Sox were doing. 4 hits, 3 the other way. Remember 2 starts ago against the Toronto Blue Jays, and they were just working long counts against Danny Duffy, and their approach, especially the right-hand batters, was right field. We're just trying to lay off everything on the inside part of the plate. As you said, not trying to pull it, just make contact, and they had base hits and a lot of outs the other way. Now Aviles walks. That's Duffy's first. And they're loaded up for Dustin Pedroia, and Dave Island's going to go out and have a little chat with Danny before he pitches to Pedroia.
He's probably going to tell him to just stay calm, don't show any emotion, and you'll get this guy here if you keep the ball down. Retire him. He got him on a changeup his last at bat. And just trying to keep him under control mentally more than anything.
He had a heck of a game last night. Pedroia doubled. He hit a home run. He walked 3 times. He had a stolen base. 3 runs scored, 2 RBIs. Every team is careful with Dustin Pedroia, but especially the Royals, as he hits .393 in his career against KC. That's the highest average of any current player against the Royals.
Now, I'm sure that Super Dave Island didn't tell Danny Duffy that the Red Sox are hitting .458 with runners in scoring position, or excuse me, with the bases loaded. But that's what they're hitting. Good hitting teams will take advantage when they get runners out there. .458's a high number.
Three balls and no strikes.
Okay, now you can't expect a guy like this to take 3-0. He's your number 2 hitter, and he knows what's coming. Okay, he didn't have to. He still has the count in his favor.
And he's not afraid to take a walk, because that's worth a run, and you got David Ortiz coming up next.
Now the Red Sox are doing what they do best. They're milking the pitch count. '50th pitch just thrown. It's a lot.
The runners break early, and Pedroia fouls it away, and he had a tough at bat against Duffy in the first inning before grounding out to third. He saw 8 pitches, and he hit 5 foul balls. So it was an out, but it was a productive out, because now Pedroia has a pretty good feel for what's coming out of Duffy's hand tonight. Runners go, and Pedroia walks. It's 2-0 Boston. So Bird comes down from third. And now they're loaded up for Ortiz.
Okay, he's just missing, and Pedroia has pretty good plate discipline. And this guy batting here, I think, is pretty safe to say he's dangerous.
Ortiz doubled in the first inning, so he has 3 career at-bats against Danny Duffy and has a double in each of those at-bats.
Duffy's got to find a way to stop it right here.
And he made a pretty good pitch on him. Could have been a lot worse. Ooh. It's a 2-run second inning. So Duffy makes a big pitch in Ortiz to avoid a big inning. Gibson was a victim of the tornado that hit Joplin, Missouri. She survived by seeking shelter in a cast iron bathtub, which protected her as the building she was in was demolished. Even though she suffered injuries, she's a respiratory therapist. She reported to Freeman Hospital, the only remaining standing hospital to help other victims. And as the one-year anniversary of the Joplin tornado approaches, the Royals honor Rhonda and other victims of the devastating disaster. She is in the Buck O'Neill legacy seat tonight as Eric Hosmer takes a strike from Daniel Bard, who retired Dyson, Gordon, and Butler in the first inning. And Hosmer snaps an 0 for 12 with a base hit to lead off the second.
How about that? Go ahead. Hit it where they ain't. That's what he hadn't been doing, just finding a hole. There you go. That'll get him started. Now, it's been interesting that Ned Yost has a pretty consistent lineup now as we're seeing Nick Punto in for Middlebrook. So I thought he had something wrong with him. We thought something was wrong, didn't we?
The way he was running from second to third, yeah.
He might have blew a tire. But Ned Yost has a pretty consistent lineup now. First month of the season, I heard some fans that were disgruntled and weren't happy, and they shouldn't have been happy. They 0-10 to start the season here. Want to know why he keeps changing the order and stuff? Well, managers do that when they're trying to find the right combination. So he's kind of settled in his spots here. I'm a little surprised during Hosmer's little spell here that he hasn't moved him down or sat him for a night. Just let him kind of collect himself, kind of like what Socha did with Albert. He put Albert on the pine for 9, and then he came back refreshed, and they call that a mental break. But Ned Yost says he doesn't need a mental break.
Now, if he was getting jammed and his bat was breaking into 27 pieces and striking out every time, that'd be one thing. But he's had several games where he doesn't have any hits, but he's hitting the ball hard.
Last 10 games, 4 for 41. With that kid swing, that wasn't working. He's too good for that. So what you call that is just a little bit of a funk, and he's going to hit his way out of it. Coming into tonight, Hosmer, that was his 113th at bat. He has a 3-hit game tonight. He'll pump it over 200. Another 2-3 hit game later in the week. He'll be hitting where he wants to be hitting real soon.
3-1 on Francoeur, and Francoeur is slowly building his batting average. He has a hit in the last 4 games, getting his average up to 250. Still looking for his first home run of the year. He just missed by less than a foot 2 home runs during the last road trip, 1 in Minnesota, 1 in Detroit. And now he walks, putting 2 on with nobody out.
This is what Danny Duffy needs. He needs to get some guys on, but he really needs a big base hit. There's Bob McClure saying, well, I don't know what's gone wrong, but let's just see how it goes. But run support's important. Kansas City's hitting just 246 as a team with runners in scoring position, looking for a hero. Get something going. Doesn't have to be a big hit early. Just get on the board.
2 hits for Moustakas, including his 11th double last night. That leads the Royals and among the league leaders. Ball 1 from Daniel Bard. You know what I like last night, Rex, is that the Royals, all 5 of their runs came without a base hit driving in a run. 2 ground balls got a run home, a sac fly, and run scored on an error, and 1 scored on a bases loaded walk. So it's nice to get that big hit, but you can get a run here and a run there just by moving the base runners along.
Situational hitting. Duffy getting a little rest after throwing 53 pitches already in just 2 innings.
And now it's 2-1 on Moustakas.
Moose is much more comfortable. I asked him today, is he working on anything? What are you trying to do in the batter's box? I want to not change a thing. I'm feeling really good right now. I'm seeing the ball. I'm getting a few walks, getting a few hits. Just trying to pick it up. Pick up that ball and see it.
And now 3-1.
So right now he's looking for a certain zone. Something hard in a zone. And 3-1, as hard as Bard throws, is pretty much going to be a fastball. So he's looking for one little spot, and if it's not in it, he'll probably take it.
And he rolls it to Gonzalez. Out at second base. No double play. So first and third and one out.
He was looking middle in for a hard fastball. Got it. Just couldn't quite get the barrel like he wanted to on it. It's a little bit behind it as far as down on the bat goes. And Gonzalez came right up with it. Avila's good throw to first base, but good, nice hustle by the Moose to beat that out. With just one out, they got a chance to get on the board. Getz wants to try to get something up, stay off the middle, away from a ground ball double play.
Getz had one of those RBIs last night, 0 for 3, but got a runner home with a sacrifice fly. And Bard throws strike one.
Okay, they're thinking that Moose is going to take off, try to stay out of a double play. And, you know, so he use that little fake to third, seeing if the first base runner in Moustakas is going to take off to second. Sometimes it works, but or to get him to flinch to see if he was thinking about going.
He is not running, and that is too high, and it's 1-1 on Getz.
As schooled as these players are against one another in their meetings, I would imagine that Bard knows that Getz currently has a streak of 662 at-bats without a home run. So he's going to challenge him here.
That was a balk. So a run scores. Daniel Bard is trying to sell Chris Guccione on that he stepped to third, but it was more stepping toward the plate than anything else, and then he turned and went to first.
Yeah,
not quite.
No. He was started his left foot towards third. Now, if you got to step off the rubber and go to first, if you're going to make that move, Guccione was right. So Bob McClure is going to come out and just try to settle him down. As Bard got a little emotional there, started putting his hands in the air, started saying, "I didn't do it," and that's really kind of good for the offense to get a pitcher out of his game and out of his rhythm. Fourth year in the big leagues for Guccione this year.
I mean, that's a balk. I mean,
right.
If he had thrown to third, that was going to be a balk.
Yeah, look at Bard. He's trying to show him again what he did. He's saying, It was that left leg, Bobby. Don't come out and argue. Slapped on his left leg.
Technically, it's supposed to be a fake to third and throw to first. You can't fake to home and throw to first.
Right. Now, Chris Getz, he's pretty comfortable hitting with the runner in scoring position. He's hitting .429.
So he's been a clutch hitter. His overall average is 276. But with runners in scoring position, almost 430. Off of his foot, and it's 2-2. Hosmer opened the inning with a single. Francoeur walked. Moustakas reached on a fielder's choice. And then Hosmer scored. Moustakas went to second on a balk. And that's borderline. And it's a balk.
They're going to get him again.
I just say that's also borderline.
Wow. This time it was third base umpire Tim Cheetah, who's the crew chief. Watch this. Yeah, he was starting home with that, with his leg. So same leg, different base.
The infield comes in, and there's a base hit to left field. Chris Getz ties the game.
Hey, you got to take what they give you. It's all about winning. Look at this short hand swing. We've been talking about hand swings all night. The Red Sox, there's Chris Getz. Beautiful hand stroke. Just took his hands right to the ball. Look at this Foxmo slow-mo sponsored by Jeep. Good head position. Hit it right where it was pitched.
Getz in been 0 for 9, so he gets another hit with runners in scoring position. And now we'll keep an eye on him with Escobar at the plate. The fans are starting to yell balk as Daniel Bard has given the Royals 3 bases.
Well, you hardly see a balk called at a game at all. I can't remember a guy balking in the same inning. Can you?
Yes. We had a game last year where that happened.
Doesn't happen that often.
Ooh. No balls, 2 strikes.
Well, there's that slow curve. Oh, it's a, you know, some pitchers call that a slider, curve, a slurve. You know, it just depends on the break. Shorter breaks you call sliders, bigger breaks you call a curve. He calls his a slurve.
That one stayed up, and Escobar fouls it away. Before that Chris Getz base hit, the Royals had scored 6 straight runs without a base hit. We were telling you about last night, all 5. A couple of ground balls, scoring runs, a sac fly, an error, a bases loaded walk, and then the first run in this inning was on a balk. And then Chris Getz driving in Moustakas to tie the game.
Ooh, man.
And that's off of Shopik's glove and up the screen.
And right over Escobar's head. So he's having some command issues, no question about it. Not only with his pitches, but with his front leg.
It has scored a wild pitch. Still 1-2.
Okay, Escobar, he's really short with his swing, and he'll take a shot to that right side, especially with Pedroia holding Getz close. He's, you know, he's been prone to hit that ball right in that spot there. And then that's a good place for him to do it right here. Cody Ross playing pretty shallow and right.
And that's exactly what he does, but he didn't hit it hard enough. So Pedroia is able to run it down and throw him out. Getz advances to third base.
Couldn't quite get it over there enough. Okay, that was a breaking ball. He waited on it, but didn't quite wait long enough.
Humberto Quintero not in the lineup last night. Brian Pena was behind the plate and was 1 for 4 with an RBI. And Quintero had a long slump going, but in the game on Sunday against the Yankees put an end to that. He had been 0 for 18. Put an end to it with a home run.
Okay, Bard going with a couple breaking balls there to Quintero. He probably knows that this guy has a good short swing when he's on, and he hits the ball to the right side as well, like he did earlier in the season. But a 25 pitch inning here is good for the Royals.
Into center field, and Quintero gives the Royals the lead.
Okay, good piece of hit. Stayed short. Ball's out over. Look at how big that hole is up the middle.
Fouled away by Dyson. Gerard grounded out to second in the first inning. So 3 hits, a walk, 2 balks, and a wild pitch in a 3-run bottom of the second inning. Danny Duffy will take the mound in the third with the lead. This has been a very long bottom of the second inning. And now Quintero runs, and the Red Sox throw him out.
Well, he took a shot at it. Dyson will lead off next inning. New game for that guy. Go ahead, Danny.
Play and a good sign for Danny Duffy. This is his only strikeout tonight, but it comes on a great curveball, and Duffy beat the Yankees on Thursday. And after the game, Royals were going on and on about his fastball, but felt like he didn't really have a curveball, so that's a good sign for him tonight. He has a 3-2 lead into the top of the third. Here's our You Call It question from Sprint for tonight. What do you think is Danny Duffy's biggest improvement from last year? His composure, Rex has been talking about that. His endurance, pitching deeper into games, his command, or his velocity. Text 432-432, enter keyword Royals, a space, and then A, B, C, or D. And I read something today, maybe you saw it, Rex, that they keep track of everything today, and somebody measuring the velocity of every single starting pitcher's pitch this year, and only Steven Strasburg throws faster on average in the major leagues than Danny Duffy.
Well, there's a reason that Jim Leland, Hall of Fame manager, doesn't want to face Duffy. Here now, he definitely wants to get in that strike zone now. His team came back, got him 3 runs, and now he's 3-0. Don't want to give any more free passes. He's already had a couple.
And not the way he wanted to start the inning after the Royals just scored 3 in the bottom of the second inning. But again, I go back to, that was a long inning, a good inning, but a long inning, and sometimes a pitcher can lose his rhythm, and it might take a batter or two for him to find it again.
Right, so it's important that he remains calm and doesn't give his opponents any body language of discouragement or failure.
And now he's missed with 5 in a row. Adrian Gonzalez flied out to right field in the second inning.
He's not missing by a whole lot.
Two and 0.
Okay, Quintero just really should stay in back of the plate here. I mean, Duffy, I don't think, wants him to come out and talk to him. Could just wait and maybe let Dave Island come out, but I think Duffy's saying, all right, give me a chance to get myself together here.
Two and 1 to Gonzalez.
It's important for they can try to establish some kind of rhythm. Tempo is important, especially when you're struggling a little bit trying to find the plate.
And he's back with another fastball for a strike. 2 and 2.
Because tempo appears to the hitter that you're under control. You have control of the game. You have the ball in your hand.
You like your stuff. You can't wait to throw your next pitch.
Exactly. Guys that posture around, there's some indecision. Obviously, the hitter goes, oh, okay. He's not sure.
Three and 2. Gonzalez last year with the Red Sox, his first year with Boston, hit almost 340, 338, 27 home runs, 117 RBIs. And now he will walk. So back-to-back walks to begin the third inning with a 1-run lead.
It might be trying a little too hard.
Well, he's going to get a little bit of a break here as Nick Punto is going to bat instead of Middlebrooks. Not that Punto isn't capable of getting a big hit. He is batting just 148 to begin the year, but Middlebrooks in his last 3 games has a grand slam, a 3-run home run, a 2-run home run, and 2 doubles. Strike 1 to Punto, and Middlebrooks doubled and scored in the second inning. But in that inning, after a base hit to right field, was running very gingerly from second to third. He finished the inning on the bases, but did not come back out for the bottom of the second.
And I was thinking that Nick Punto, you know, he's their utility guy. Good player. Hitting a $148, just 27 ABs. Situation like this with no out, let him sacrifice the runners over. And he's a good bunter. He can do that. But I think you want to see if Duffy was going to continue to throw balls. He wasn't going to attempt one, but look for him to try to move the runners.
A little high, 2 balls and 1 strike.
Okay, I think we're going to get a little firm talking to here from Ned.
And Ned is walking out with purpose. He's not taking his time. He's going as if he can't wait to get to the mound.
No, there's some body language behind that walk. Wow. Okay. Can you read lips?
A few of those words.
Yep. That's exactly what that was. A firm talking to by your field general. Saying your guys got you the lead. Pitch like it.
Not to mention, this is a very good defensive team. I mean, if the Red Sox put the ball in play, there's a good chance that somebody wearing a white uniform tonight is going to run it down. And Punto hits it up the middle. And one pitch after the speech, the lecture from Ned Yost, the Royals turn a double play.
Well, that sometimes works. But Punto, he knows that most of the time he's going to get a fastball to hit after a firm talking to, and he did, but it jammed him. He couldn't handle it. His timing's not right. He hasn't played very long. He hasn't had a lot of at-bats this year. So look at this. Routine, roll him over, Escobar to gets. Love that super slow-mo camera, man. Hitters and players would love to be able to slow the game down like that camera does.
So it's Ross at third with 2 away, and Darnell McDonald at the plate. He flied out to Alex Gordon in the 2nd inning. One and one. Popped up. So Ned Yost marches out to the mound and gets Danny Duffy back on track. 2 walks to start the inning, but the Red Sox are scoreless in the 3rd. Royals to the bottom of the 3rd inning. Top of the order for the Royals, Gerard Dyson, Alex Gordon, and Billy Butler. Dyson was at the plate in the second when Quintero was caught stealing, and that bunt was just too hard. So he's out on 1 pitch, and Dyson is 0 for 2. The fan vote to pick the starters for this year's All-Star game in Kansas City has begun. You can now vote for all of your favorite Royals players and play your part by punching a ballot when you come out to a game, or go to Royals.com/vote to crown a Royal. It was a long and eventful second inning for Daniel Bard. He gave up 3 runs. 3 runs on 3 hits. He balked twice, walked a batter, and threw a wild pitch. Gordon hooks it over to Pedroia, who handles a tricky hop. Alex has grounded out to second twice.
Eyes just wanting to pull that ball too much. Pull a sinker. That's what happens. And look, it's a lot harder to do than to talk about. I mean, you get up there, you want to juice one, especially when a guy throws hard. You want to get the head out and hit one 10 miles. But some pitchers can sense that, and it's the catcher that calls the pitches. Ooh. That's some 96 that's riding in on him around the Royals letters. Backed him off. Coming right back in there again.
And it's popped up. A 28-pitch inning in the second, and Bard comes back with a 5-pitch inning in the third. Parents, sign your kids up for Slugger's Blue Crew, presented by U.S. Toy. Members receive a batting practice jersey, backpack, water bottle, ticket vouchers, front of the line access for every Sunday fun run, and much more. And all of that for just $20. And you can join now at Royals.com/Blue Crew. Two 2-0 on Marlon Byrd, who singled and scored in the Red Sox 2-run second inning, and then the Royals answered with 3 in their half of the second.
Can I read you my scouting report I have on Danny Duffy?
Sure.
And it's, you know, it's common knowledge, basically. Danny has a tendency to throw too many pitches in the early innings, reducing his capacity to pitch deep in the game.
Busted bat, and Escobar runs it down.
Danny says, I'm trying to be more efficient to get to the 7th. But with 74 pitches thrown in just the 4th inning here, and that ratio balls to strikes, that's got to improve if he's going to be a dominant big league pitcher.
You know, and he hasn't done it yet consistently, but having been around Danny now for about a year, you get the feeling that he means that. You know, some pitchers are just saying the right thing, but when they get on the mound, all they want to do is embarrass the hitters, run up their strikeout total, and get away from the game plan. But Danny Duffy was saying those things.
Look at that one pitch out. That's good. Keep an eye on that ball, though. You might lose it. It's twilight.
He was saying those things when he first got to the big leagues, so he had a feel for that as he was pitching in the minor leagues. And we asked you earlier in our Sprint You Call It question, Danny Duffy's biggest improvement from last year, and 42% are going with command, followed by composure.
Hey, look, I'll agree with both of those.
And 7% are going with what you just described, what Danny wants to do, and that is pitch deeper into games.
But Danny Duffy is a real competitor. He shows no fear of challenging hitters. And he willingly pitches inside. Has good mound presence and combines power and finesse. That's out of the book. That's out of the scouting book on Danny Duffy. Now, you take those things with a grain of salt, but really they're all true with this kid. He's a good kid, good-natured, happy when he sees you. I mean, you would love to see that guy if you had a car trouble on the side of the road and he pulled up next to you. He want to help you. First homestand, I'm driving out. After we get back from spring training, I'm driving out of Kauffman Stadium here, and I see Danny Duffy with his luggage walking out of the ballpark.
Where was he walking to?
He was walking out of the ballpark. He was staying right up here at the suites up here.
Oh, okay.
I've never seen a big leaguer walk his bags up to his hotel. Okay, watch this now, Fox Tracks. I'll quit talking. But that'll tell you the humility that he has.
Mm-hmm.
Humble guy.
That's not a short walk. I mean, it might be the closest hotel to the ballpark, but that's not a short walk. There's some hills involved and some busy streets. In on the hands, Alex started in first, and he almost was able to run it down. So he may not have seen it right away when Aviles made contact. And Mike is at second base with his 9th double of the year.
Well, 3-2 count. He knew fastball was coming. It was on the inside part of the plate, and you're right. Gordon, he got a late break on it. On contact, he hesitated a couple seconds, and by the time he went back on it, it was too late. But twilight, I mentioned it. You can, the sound of the bat sometimes is deceiving. Outfielders use those as a way to get a jump on a ball. Deep blue sky. Ball gets up high enough. You have to keep your focus. Wait till it comes back out and you can see it. Some outfielders have been known to wear glasses that have an amber lens, like a lighter lens in it, so it brightens up the sky. Just for this time of night.
Like a hunter or somebody taking target practice might wear.
Exactly.
So Pedroia comes up with a runner in scoring position. Danny walked him with the bases loaded in the second. That was the second run of the inning, and then Duffy got Ortiz to fly to center with the bases loaded. Two and one. The big number there is the number 7. That they already have 7 runners in scoring position, and they're not even done with the 4th inning. So Danny so far has kept the damage to a minimum, but he's had 4 high stress innings.
And already 86 pitches expended. He got Pedroia out on a changeup in his first at bat and a ground ball to Moustakas.
Over to David Ortiz, who casually catches it bare hand.
Big Poppy might be the DH, but he's still got cat-like reflexes. Caught that one on the one hopper. That ball had some wicked break to it. Rarely do you see a guy foul a ball off pulling it like that.
Curveball got away from him, 3-2.
Petey is what his teammates call Pedroia. Petey. He's a competitor. He's gonna tax the pitch count. He's gonna foul balls off. He's gonna make you work. He's gonna foul off the pitches that are borderline pitches and wait for you to make a mistake. That's what good hitters do.
And he just absolutely loves the game. You see him when he's here. He's the first player out, and he'll just sit in the dugout and watch the Royals take batting practice. And the Red Sox will say that when he gets to the ballpark, I mean, he just can't wait to get his uniform on, get out of the clubhouse, and get out onto the field.
Okay, now another guy that loves the game as much as he does is that guy right there. I talked to him at batting practice today, and he was so giddy, like a kid. I just love shortstop. I just love playing. I can't wait till the game starts.
Just past Getz. Avila's coming to the plate. Dyson will play it to second base. So with 2 outs and nobody on, the Red Sox get a double. They get another RBI from Pedroia, and they've tied the game at 3.
Okay, he fouled off Duffy's borderline pitches until he got him a pitch he could hit. And look what he does. He squares it up. It's right down the middle. Premium World Championship caliber player right there. General managers around the league try to fill their rosters with guys like that, but they're hard to find. It's not easy.
And Ortiz going for it all, swings and misses. He doubled against Duffy in the first. That was with nobody on. And then with the bases loaded in the second, Ortiz flied out to center field. "92 pitches for Duffy, and he's not done with the fourth."
Pedroia's got 3 bags this year. He's been caught twice. He'll go if he feels like he can get a jump.
Very high in the air. Moustakas moves into foul ground, and he's got it. Red Sox get a 2-out run, and they tie the game at 3. your Midwest Ford dealer. By Panera Bread, 23 KC Metro locations and now open in Brookside. And by AT&T, the world's largest 4G network. AT&T, rethink possible. And there's Eric Hosmer's picture up on Crown Vision as he leads off. Base hit to center field, his first time up, and then scored on a balk as Daniel Bard balked twice in the inning. And he was a mess in that 28-pitch second inning, but pulled it together in the third and got through Dyson, Gordon, and Butler with just 5 pitches. Chopped out to Aviles. Close play, but out. 1 away. Here's our Time Warner pitch speed comparison. Pretty good heat tonight. The gun here at the ballpark saying that Duffy has hit 99, Bard 97. You can get downloads up to 50 megabits per second with Time Warner Cable Ultimate Internet. Jeff Francoeur walked his first time, and he's after the first pitch. 1 hop to Punto, and there are 2 outs. Interleague play begins for the Royals on Friday, May 18. The Arizona Diamondbacks come to town, and it will be Buck Night and Fireworks Friday. So hot dogs, peanuts, and soft drinks are just $1. And then we hope you'll stay after the game for Friday Night Fireworks, presented by Hy-Vee and Pepsi. Go to Royals.com or call 1-800-6-ROYALS for tickets. Final game of the homestand is tomorrow. Then the Royals will be in Chicago for 3, Texas for 2, and then Baltimore for 2 here at Kauffman Stadium, and then that 3-game series with Arizona.
We got action coming up. Baseball. It's beautiful every night.
How about the Baltimore Orioles at 19-10 to begin the year? What was the stat you shared with me that we couldn't believe that
They're
Orioles...
last in fielding.
Oh yeah, they've committed the most errors in the league. And
right.
Still 9 games over 500. On the ground to Gonzalez, a Gold Glove winner. He's back to the bag. That's an 8-pitch inning for Bard and just 13 in his last 2 innings.
Left field, and we just saw a little while ago that ball that Alex Gordon had some trouble with. And interesting, I was talking to him about his great catch last night, and he said, you know, that one wasn't too difficult. It was the other one, and he lost one last night. He told me he lost it in the twilight, and of course tonight that one happening in the twilight too. But guys, it got me wondering when I asked Alex, what are the tough catches, what are the easy ones? And he said he really has no problem going down the line and going to his right. It's the ball in the gap to the left that is a little bit more of a problem. And then both of you guys have played outfield, and I'm interested what you have to say, but he said that that ball hit directly at you that might be going over your head. Do you turn to your right or do you turn to your left? And that's the one, as Jeff Francoeur has no problem with this. That's a little more difficult, but he was saying, Ryan, that off the bat of a lefty, he's probably going to turn to his right because there's going to be some slice. Off of a righty, there's still a good chance he could go that way. What do you guys think?
Well, I know one thing that is an adjustment for a minor leaguer, Rex, and this speaks to Joel's point, is the third deck. And, you know, in the minor leagues, you have a two-deck stadium, so that ball gets up into the sky much quicker. But here you have a third deck. By the way, it's T-shirt Tuesday tonight, and they're giving away white T-shirts. So that presents another problem if a ball comes off the bat and it's caught in some T-shirts. But I know Rusty Kuntz, the Royals outfield coach, is really big on the first movement is a drop step. And if you're not sure how deep it's going to be, to freeze for a split second to see if it's going to be hit over your head, at you, or in front of you. But that the first move should be to be in position where you can go back and not that first jab step forward, which creates that, what do they call it, a banana route going back to the ball.
Or a question mark route. I learned that if your first step with your foot, whether it's your right or your left, your body goes the direction your toes are pointing. That ball's out over the middle of the plate. No chance for Dyson to catch that one. Well, a ball hit right over your head. If you drop your toes straight back to the wall, you'll go that way, and that eliminates all the little angles that you miss in the route that you take. So there's a couple little things that you learn out there as an outfielder that'll help you get the balls better. But Gordon wears the gold.
2-0 on Nick Punto, who grounded into a double play, and those were two big outs for Duffy in the third inning. That was right after hearing it from his manager after Duffy had walked the first two hitters in the inning. 2-1.
Okay, well, he's towards the bottom of the order, and you would think that his stuff would play on these 7, 8, 9 hitters. Punto's kind of ducking those high fastballs. I wouldn't be surprised to see him take another one. When you've only had 26 at bats, you want to see as many pitches as you can.
Three and two.
Herrera warming up in the pen. No Mazzaro.
For Duffy, that is his fourth walk.
Hey, look at that body language. See that? It's getting late, and I think that's it.
So Ned Yost trying to keep the Royals in the game with a 3-3 tie in the fifth inning.
Just trying a little too hard tonight.
And you can see the frustration all over his face. Chevy called to the bullpen. Kelvin Herrera, 2 on, 1 out. a 3-3 tie. We were telling you about the interleague series with the Arizona Diamondbacks. On Saturday, May 19th, you can receive an exclusive 2012 All-Star Garden Gnome presented by Pepsi. Gnomes will be given out to the first 10,000 fans. Royals and Diamondbacks at 6:15. And you want to get here early. Gates will open at 4:30. Royals.com, 1-800-6-ROYALS for tickets. So Kelvin Herrera, and he inherits Gonzalez at second base, Punto at first, and one out. And now Ryan Sweeney is going to bat for the Red Sox. Sweeney has not been in the starting lineup for the first two games of the series, with the Royals starting Jonathan Sanchez and Danny Duffy. But Ryan Sweeney is among the league leaders in hitting. He is fourth in the American League, hitting .368.
Coming into his own. Get off to a good start. Confidence starts happening. You start believing that you belong and that you can make an impact.
And now all Danny Duffy can do is watch from the dugout and cheer on Herrera.
Well, Sweeney has a tough job of facing a guy that throws in the upper 90s and a changeup that's 90. Maybe 88 to 90.
2-2. Former second-round pick of the White Sox back in 2003. Got his first major league home run against the Royals. 2007 off of Scott Ellerton. Chance for two again. Escobar to Getz, and this time Hosmer isn't able to come up with it. And coming down from third to score is Adrian Gonzalez.
You know, I was going to say something about Nick Punto. He's a hard ball player. He's got a big lead at first base, and he's going to be dangerous at second on a breakup. And that's exactly what happened. Watch, look at Punto. He's walking. He's got a walking running lead. He's going to get to Getz. Look at Punto. He's coming after him. Still Getz had time to make a little better throw. But that's called playing the game right there. Get after him. Break up a double play.
The Red Sox take the lead 4-3. Marlon Byrd is 1 for 2 with a single and a run scored. 1-1. And now Herrera's ahead, 1 ball, 2 strikes. You know, this is another guy when we've been talking about Irving Falou, Mike Aviles, guys who have just hung in there for a long time, continue to work hard. Marlon Byrd, drafted by the Phillies originally back in 1999. Big prospect, didn't quite pan out for them. And went to the Rangers. Took him a while to get going there. And it wasn't until his 10th professional season that he had a solid full year in the big leagues.
Well, he has worked really hard. He had a lot of natural ability, but the knock on him early was he couldn't hit big league pitching consistently and for power. Playing the outfield, didn't have that kind of stroke, but he's worked it. And you know, he's another guy like Derek Jeter that goes 90 feet really hard. He hustles all the time. And I shared that with the people when the Yankees were here about how that transfers over to your teammates, and it transfers over to teams. Teams want guys that play like that. He's a hard ball player. And there's a reason that the Red Sox went after him when Ellsbury went on the DL. They wanted somebody who played the game hard. And Bobby Valentine, he knows what championship caliber players look like. Herrera wants to get out of this right now. 2-2.
And he almost nailed him on the leg. 3 balls, 2 strikes.
Did you mention that Marlon Byrd got hit in the face last year?
And now he's a teammate of the guy that hit him in the face. He was playing for the Cubs. Remember that much hyped Cubs first visit to Fenway Park? Those 2 teams with the old ballparks. Right. And it was Alfredo Aceves, who is now the Red Sox closer, that nailed him. Suffered some facial fractures. That was in the middle of May.
Well, to recover from something like that is unbelievable, but to come out and face a guy that throws 100 again like this takes a lot of courage.
Changeup and a beauty. Red Sox get a run because of an error, and they lead 4-3. Presented by AT&T. Who holds the Royals record for most strikeouts in a season by a left-handed starter?
Buddy Black. That's my guess.
Okay. And a good one. Chris Getz, Alcides Escobar, and Humberto Quintero in the bottom of the 5th inning. Ryan Sweeney stays in the game and is in right field. So Cody Ross, who was in right, shifts over to left.
Okay, now it's the Royals' turn to tax some of the pitches of Bard. And he's had 2 innings where he's breezed by. He threw 5?
Followed by 8.
Yeah, 5 in the 3rd, 8 in the 4th. That's right. Kevin Seitzer probably mentioned that to his guys. Hey guys, come on, man. Let's be a little bit more selective up there. So there's a 3-1 count.
And now 3-2. Gets snapping a personal 0 for 9 with an RBI single. And the Royals 3-run second. Good start, leadoff walk.
Get him in trouble. Swing early in the count and you don't get a base hit, it hurts you. Now if you get a knock and you're lucky, go ahead. I mean, that's good, but Milk him. Good at bat by Getz.
Because if he wanted to, he could have swung at the 3-1 pitch and wanted to make him throw another strike, and he couldn't.
And that was a two-seam sinker away, and had Getz tried to pull that pitch, he would have grounded out somewhere probably. It's a good AB.
This would be a good hit and run combo with Escobar's ability to hit it to the right side and gets his speed. Ooh. Thought about bunting, and that pitch right there is a reason why some people don't like to bunt.
Especially off a guy that throws 98. I think that was just a show bunt.
Well, it was enough to bring Punto to the grass on the left side. So a show bunt, meaning the Royals really don't want to bunt, but maybe want to convince the Red Sox they're going to bunt.
Pull the corners in a little bit, open up the field some for a guy who hits the ball on the ground and a ground ball pitcher.
And a little slow roller. Gonzalez makes a nice diving play, and lucky that Bard is 6'4" to go up and get it. Getz moves up to second base.
Okay, bunt does the same thing. Little excuse me swing here. Gonzalez has a nice glove. We've seen some really good first basemen on this homestand. Teixeira, Gonzalez, of course, Eric Hosmer every night. Hosmer's got a gold glove in his future. And there it was. Bard was able to get it, step on the base. See if Quintero can stay hot.
And he didn't have a very good swing. Quintero, we told you before his RBI single in the second inning, he put an end to an 0 for 18 on Sunday with a home run. Out of the lineup last night and put the Royals in front with a 2-out RBI single in the second. Boston has scored 1 in the fourth and 1 in the fifth to regain the lead. Punto hauled off by Aviles. He makes the catch in foul ground, 2 outs. So now it's Dyson, and Bard has gotten him to ground out twice. The second time was on a bunt attempt. Tried to drag it to the right side, but bunted it too hard, and Gonzalez made the play and took care of Dyson himself. Change up for strike 1. Punto charges in, throws on the run. That's the inning. The Royals got a leadoff walk, but they're unable to get Getz around. 4-3 Boston. been a tough haul for the starting rotation. The starting rotation as a group averaging right around maybe a little less than 5 innings per start. And tonight, Danny Duffy only able to go 4 1/3 innings.
Well, at least he kept his team in the game, Ryan. Look, we've had some blowouts, some big innings, from Hochevar and Sanchez, but at least Duffy kept his team in the game. He competed. He showed some pretty good stuff. His command wasn't exactly where it can be. So he's kept them in the game. They're down by 1 here, 4-3. And they've got a chance. That's really all you ask from a starting pitcher anyway. Give your team a chance to win.
If you're looking for the bright side with Danny Duffy tonight, he did avoid a big inning. And the Red Sox were poised to have a big inning in the second, but Duffy got David Ortiz on a fly out to center field with the bases loaded. And that's, at the time, a .385 hitter. After back-to-back walks in the third, Duffy got out of that inning thanks to a double play and a pop-up. So he allowed 2 in the second, 1 in the fourth, and 1 in the fifth, and that run was unearned. 2-1 on the number 9 hitter, Kelly Shopik. He drove in a run with a single in the second inning, and he flied out in the fourth. Three balls and 1 strike.
Kelly Shopik. His 471 games without a triple have been the most among active major league players. He hit a triple last night. The ball that Gordon couldn't, he jumped for and he hit off his wrist, which was a triple all the way. That had been the most. He laughed. He was tickled. And this year, he also attempted his first stolen base in his 464th career major league game. It's the longest streaks of games to begin a career without a stolen base attempt. So look, this is the year for Shopik with his speed.
Well, when he hits a home run, he'll have a 1-1 season working. Shopik strikes out. That's Herrera's second, and then he can start shooting for a 2-2 season. Let's bring in Joel Goldberg.
Ryan, we answered Twitter questions on Hy-Vee Royals Live today, Jeff Montgomery and me, and so we've got plenty of others. Wanted to pass on to both you and Rex. This one from @Zebra1000, Zebariah Carter. Do you think the starters' lack of innings lately is more based on the mental aspect or the mechanics?
I'm going to say both. They're going to have to fix it a little bit here. Dave Island, he's a fix-it type of pitching coach. He breaks down videos. He'll work on the mechanical part. Hard to work on the delicate mental muscle between the ears. Although, knowing Dave Island, he's probably put him in a room somewhere and let him have it once or twice already this year. I don't know that for sure, but I know Dave Island. That's how you work on the mental muscle sometimes. Maybe you talk about accountability. Maybe Dave, gets frustrated like the rest of them, and it's time for them to step up and do their part. You got another one? We could talk for days on that.
Well, there's Dave, and we saw Luke Hochevar, Jonathan Sanchez. This from Chris Kane, and a lot of people are asking this: how long are the Royals going to wait for Hochevar to deliver?
They're going to give him another start for sure. I mean, what are you going to do with him? He's got great stuff. You're going to have to keep working with him.
And we have to remind people that stuff just means on the radar gun and the quality of pitches, the snap on the breaking ball. Doesn't mean necessarily that you're polished and you're throwing a lot of strikes, but you have the potential to be a good pitcher.
So go ahead.
No, and I was going to say, too, a lot of people asking, why don't they send him down to Omaha? He's out of options, and that's not always published in a lot of places. There's not necessarily a list, but he is out of options.
They'd pick him up in a heartbeat. Someone would.
Herrera bases 3 and retires 3 in the top of the 6th. is Kevin Joby from Kansas City, Missouri. If the Royals hit a home run in this inning, Kevin wins $2,700. If the Royals hit a grand slam out of the park, Kevin wins $25,000 from Sonic and the Kansas City Royals. Gordon, Butler, Hosmer, and if anybody gets on, Francoeur, is Daniel Bard, who had a 28-pitch second inning, now really has his pitch count under control, because in the last 3 innings he's gone 5 pitches, 8 pitches, and 12 pitches. And Joel is passing along Twitter questions tonight, so let's go back to him.
What else you got, Joel?
Well, we got all kinds of more stuff for you, and
let's talk to the people.
All right, let's bring it to the people. How about this one from Nicholas Miller at Nick Win Miller? He tweeted into at FS Kansas City, why recall Vin Mazzaro and not give a new guy like Mike Montgomery a chance? We're talking about different roles there, right, guys?
They're talking about a long reliever in Vin Mazzaro, and the Royals want Mike Montgomery to still do some more growing in AAA, and he's a starter. I think when they bring him up, they want him to start. Alex has grounded out to Pedroia 3 times tonight.
Can I ask a question?
Yeah. Is this from Joel?
Kind of. It was just, it was one that was sent in to me a little while ago, wondering how many bats Alex breaks, and it sounded like that might have broken again. And I don't think there's a stat that's kept on who breaks the most amount of bats, but I got to think Alex might win MVP on that one. Why?
I think, well, he grips the bat and he's strong. I mean, he's got a pretty tight grip, and sometimes it has to do with the bat, right, Rex? I mean, some guys have a thinner handled bat, and they're just going to break more. Billy Butler is 1 for 3 with a 1-out single.
Okay, well, maple bats are the premium bats that are used now by several different companies that are certified by Major League Baseball. And thinner bat handles break a lot, but most of it has to do with swinging at pitches that are inside, that are jammed, and they're pitching Gordon inside an awful lot because they don't want him to get his hands extended. So when they come in there, and he's not laying off of them, he's swinging at them, and those are pitches that aren't strikes. So he's doing that himself. He's jamming himself lots of times by swinging at those pitches. Now, not just him, all hitters do that, but it just seems like lately he's been getting jammed a lot, and other hitters will say, man, Gordy, get him out of your kitchen, man. They're making a living in your kitchen. Take the chef's hat off. That's what a player says. Now, I'm not saying that about these guys. This is the same language they talk, and the language hasn't changed over the 100 years. Some of it has. They've got some new sayings that are in.
And you always use the language that's suitable for families, and we appreciate that.
Absolutely.
Yep.
Now, maybe Haas can get his second knock right here. But there's a mark on the baseball bats that you can see visibly that I've had a couple questions myself over. What is that spot on their black bat? And it's from Major League Baseball. And we'll show it to you next time I see one. Now, they're marked on a bat that has a white handle too, but you see it more on a black bat. It's a white spot.
What part of the bat?
Have you noticed white spots on the baseball bats?
I don't think I have. Are you talking about the barrel, or are you talking about?
No, it's down low. It's on the handle, and it's very obvious. But this one here you can't see. There's too much pine tar, but those are certified by Major League Baseball that they're maples that are okay to use.
Red Sox turn a double play, and Daniel Bard now has a 9-pitch inning. He's cruising. best deals on new Fords are at thoroughbredford.com. Buy Steel. Find a helpful servicing Steel dealer near you. Visit steeldealers.com. By AT&T Uverse, the new wireless receiver from AT&T Uverse. Visit att.com/freeyourtv. And by the State of Missouri Tobacco Quit Line. Call 1-800-QUIT-NOW. Still 4-3 Red Sox. Beautiful night in Kansas City. And if you want to bring your dog out to a game, well, here's our next Bark at the Park. It's Sunday, May 20th. Thanks to Bear K9 Advantix. For just $25, you'll get a ticket for both you and your dog, a K9 bag dispenser, and a donation will be made to Wayside Waifs. Go to Royals.com/bark to register. This is Jose Mijares taking over in the 7th inning. All 4 runs for the Red Sox were charged to Danny Duffy. 1 run was unearned. Kelvin Herrera pitched an inning and 2/3. And now Mijares with David Ortiz, Cody Ross, and then another left-hand batter, Adrian Gonzalez, coming up. No balls, 2 strikes.
Mijares, he's going to be breaking that big curveball away from Big Papi. Now, he's dangerous against any hitters that throw from either side of their body. Doesn't matter. He's hitting .432 off lefties. And he's doing that, his hitting coach Dave Magadan says, by using the whole field. He's not jumping out the ball. He's not trying to hit homers. He lets those happen naturally because he's a 10-year veteran, 10+ years. And his eyes will tell his hands which ball he can hit out of the park.
Quintero wanted that ball down. It stays up, but Gordon makes the play inside the line. 1 down. Well, Rex is going to go with Bud Black, who holds the Royals record for most strikeouts in a single season by a left-handed starter. I'm going to go with Paul Splittorff. He wasn't really a big strikeout pitcher. Wow. Neither was Charlie Leibrandt. You're talking about broken bats. I don't know if anybody broke more bats than Charlie Leibrandt did, but 151 strikeouts.
Al Broughton tricked us again.
I was also thinking Danny Jackson, who was more of a power type left-hand pitcher.
He had a wicked slider. Charlie, he was a finesse lefty. Faced him when he was with the Atlanta Braves.
1-1. Cody Ross is 0 for 2. He has reached with a walk.
Okay, Cody Ross has a black bat. It's maple. And he's got the spot. See the spot, Ryan?
Yep. Big white dot on the handle.
That means that it is Major League Baseball certified. It was a maple bat that's been inspected because a few years ago they took all the broken bats and they studied them. All the broken bats they could find, and they made the companies adhere to a certain code that they could use them. There's maple. Ouch. That hurts.
It was getting dangerous. I mean, the barrel of the bat was flying everywhere.
It was flying all over the place. There's maple bats, birch bats, ash bats, but the maple ones were the ones that were breaking in half. And so the black ones that are certified to these companies, they circle it. Okay, watch this. This is a breaking ball into a righty, and when you foul that off your shin like that, that really hurts. That's why you see a lot of guys with the shin protector, and that's dangerous. That could, we've seen it break bones before. And if you really want to know what that feels like, just go out to your garage and get a hammer and whack yourself on the shin.
How about I just take your word for it?
That's what I'm saying. But that's what it feels like.
Now, you have a bat here in the booth, and we've seen the black handle with the white spot, and then a bat that has the white handle. And it's easy to miss if you're not looking for it.
Okay, there's the mark right there on a bat that has a white handle. Okay, this is certified. It's an Escobar bat. Look at that beautiful bat he let me demonstrate with. Got a signature on it. Beautiful. It's maple. It's certified by Major League Baseball. So you fans that are wondering, ooh, watch out, look out. Oh, man. There's a scrum for that bat. They want it. Tug of war.
It literally is a tug of war.
Okay, now, heads up.
Boy, it just squirted right between that lady with the blue jacket.
Well, there's a bat that didn't break. And fortunately didn't break anything up in the stands either. So this lucky guy gets a souvenir. Ross struck out and he didn't want it back. So the usher will take it and give it to him as the gentleman exits. Make sure he gives him his name and all that. He gets Cody Ross back.
Gonzalez doubled and scored on the gets error in the 5th inning, and that's the difference in the game right now. And now Gonzalez has a 2-hit game, and he's been on base 3 times. The Royals, in conjunction with the Major League Baseball All-Star Game, are offering fans a limited edition All-Star brick. Fans can purchase a personalized brick that includes the commemorative All-Star Game logo, and your brick will be installed and on display outside the stadium. Go to Royals.com/bricks for more information. And now ball 1 to Nick Punto. Came on defensively for the Red Sox in the bottom of the 2nd inning. Will Middlebrooks doubled and scored in the top of the 2nd, but seemed to be hobbled by some sort of a leg injury running between 2nd and 3rd base. And then Punto was at 3rd base when the Red Sox took the field. Two and one. Moustakis, and the Royals get the force at 2nd base. Stretch time at Kauffman Stadium. The Royals are down by 1.
Goldberg here as Panera takes us around the league. So what that Raul Ibanez had 2 home runs? Look at the score above that. Yes, Josh Hamilton tonight had 4 home runs and 8 RBIs. Texas wins 10-3. We will have highlights of those home runs from Hamilton on Boulevard Royals Live. Minnesota out in front of Los Angeles, Toronto, Oakland, Detroit, and Seattle just getting underway. 4 home runs, guys.
Wow. Francoeur starts off the 7th inning with a base hit, his first. He's also walked tonight. If that Minnesota Angels game stays the same, that'll be the 7th time this year that the Angels will be shut out. Most of the major leagues. Not quite the way they had it planned out when they went out and signed Albert Pujols.
No, and he's 0 for 3. Still hitting under 200, I believe. Good hit by Frenchie. Took a slider and went with it. Broke his bat, but the bat died a hero.
Daniel Bard has had 1 bad inning, and that's it. And it was a 3-run second inning, and it was really bad. He balked twice. He threw a wild pitch. He walked a hitter, and he threw 28 pitches in that inning. But he has rebounded nicely since with a 5-pitch 3rd inning, an 8-pitch 4th, a 12-pitch 5th, and a 9-pitch 6th. So here he is in the 7th inning, and he hasn't thrown 80 pitches yet. Moustakas grounds it through the left side. That's his first hit. Tying run at second, go ahead run at first, and nobody out.
All right, got a little something cooking here in the 7th. All right, now with Kritz stepping in, Eddie Rodriguez already gave the signals, and I would expect to see him bunting here for sure. He's a good bunter. Nobody out. Want to advance those runners and increase your chances of getting this game tied for sure. And a big base hit, we'll see. But Bob McClure is going to come out and join the conversation.
Now it's interesting. I don't know the answer to this question, but as Bob McClure, and I'm just assuming here, I could be totally off. But as Bob McClure was going out, he looked back to the dugout and he got some instruction from Jerry Royster, who is also the Red Sox 3rd base coach. And I would think that Jerry Royster might be passing along some information as to how the Red Sox are defending against the bunt. So my question is, can only the manager and the pitching coach go to the mound? If you're going to talk defense, can the 3rd base coach make a trip to the mound?
Yes, but I don't think multiple guys can. I've never seen that before, but we'll have to check that. But yeah, they could have sent him out there, but here's the options. 3rd baseman Punto can charge, and Avila can go to 3rd base and cover. That's called the wheel play. Okay, the 3rd baseman comes in. Oops, sorry about that. And then they have a play where the 1st baseman and 3rd baseman crash. See, if he comes in here, Avila would go over to 3rd base, okay, and try to get the force at 3rd. They could just play for an out, and that's what they'll do here.
Puts the bunt down. Nice. Good job getting Francoeur to 3rd, and Moustakas to 2nd. And Rek'Sai open up the rule book here.
You know, look at Getz get some love in there. Okay, you thought he got a big base hit, but you know that sacrifice is very important. You get high fives from everybody, including the trainers. Doing the little things is what help you win ball games, and this is what the Royals are going to have to do to win this one. Good technique. Get the bat head out front, bunt the top half of the ball.
Escobar trying to go the other way, swings and misses. Rulebook here says, in reference to trips to the mound, it says on a few occasions the manager or coach. Nothing about a pitching coach. The manager or coach.
But not both.
Well, not both at the same time, but I'm saying instead of the pitching coach making a trip, there's a safety squeeze and a good play by the Red Sox. The Gold Glover, Gonzalez, nails Francoeur at the plate, and now Francoeur is slow to get up.
Well, you know, that wasn't a suicide squeeze. It was more like a safety squeeze, but when you're the slider coming home, you got to go feet first, because the catcher is going to block you out, and he's going to use his shin guard. So, see, he's staying home at third base. That was a safety squeeze. It wasn't a suicide, but when you do that, see what Chopich did? He dropped his shin guard right on Frenchie's fingers, and Frenchie got a shin guard sandwich right there. Advisable to go feet first into home like this. See how he sticks his foot in his shin guard out there, and he blocked the plate. Did a great job there. Now there's 2 outs. Now Frenchie didn't necessarily have to go on that because he didn't have a good walking lead at third base. But if you're going to come home, you go feet first. Hope Frenchie's all right.
Ryan Pena is going to bat for Quintero. Quintero had an RBI single in the second inning and fouled out in the 5th. First and third and 2 down. Just to clarify, I wasn't suggesting the pitching coach and the infield coach would go out at the same time, but if the trip to the mound was to talk defense, and I've never seen this before obviously, but and the infield coach is giving the pitching coach some instruction as he's going out, would then the infield coach want to go out and talk about how they're going to cover a bunt? I know the answer to that question, but
okay, let's check this out. Now, when you're a runner and you're coming home, you don't make up your decision on how you're going to slide until you're 5 feet from it. See, now Chopich used his foot to block the plate, and his hand got caught up right on that foot, and you could tell he's in a lot of pain there. Okay, his left hand, his glove hand.
And Pena strikes out on 3 pitches. Royals had runners at second and third and 1 out and failed to score. They're still down by 1.
Getting ready for Boulevard Royals Live after the game. Up in Rivals, we will be talking balks, walks, doing the little things, and much more, including reaction from Ned Yost and the Royals. That'll be coming up after the game here on Fox Sports Kansas City. And some more Twitter questions, gentlemen, from FS Kansas City that were sent in. Here's one from Ernie Webb. Isn't it time that Hosmer moves down in the lineup, struggling with that batting average? What do you guys think?
Well, it's up to the manager, but obviously he does not want to hurt the confidence of Hosmer anymore. When you move him out of that spot, he's been in that 3rd and 4th spot most of the year, it kind of deflates his ego a little, and maybe that might work. Or better than that, I think you just give him a day off, but you know, you got a hit tonight. It's up to Ned. That's only his call.
And the other side of it too is, and we've been talking about it, seems like for 2 weeks now, that he's been hitting the ball hard. I mean, it hasn't been swinging. Somebody had emailed in earlier in the day, guys, saying that this kind of compared to where Mike Jacobs was a few years ago when he really was struggling with everything. He's been awfully close.
Well, so when Hosmer does come out of it, and Ned keeps him in that 3rd and 4th spot, then Hosmer will say, Ned, thanks for having confidence in me to keep me in that spot. I'm driving the bus now. Because he will drive the bus. It's just a matter of time.
There is a guy right now, as the strikeout from Jose Mijares, that is doing at AA Northwest Arkansas what we have seen Mike Moustakas, Eric Hosmer, and Salvador Perez do. That would be Will Myers. Gotten, boy, at least a half a dozen questions. This one coming from the Fox Sports Kansas City Facebook page. Phil Ryan, with Will Myers doing well in Northwest Arkansas, what do you see as the timetable for him getting to Kansas City? Hit his 11th home run of the year today.
Where does he play?
Where are you going to put him?
Well, I will say this. First off, the simple answer is he's not going to skip a level. So you're going to see him at AAA, I would think, soon. But interesting, he's been playing some center field lately, which they like all of their outfielders to do, to be able to play all 3 positions.
But they don't have a prototypical type leadoff hitter, and Dyson so far coming into this game is hitting 326. So, you know, they got time. There's no need to rush him yet, unless there is an unfortunate injury out there. And thankfully, Frank Coeur is back out in right field after that shin guard foot sandwich he ate at home plate. Didn't hurt his finger.
Ryan, you ever have one of those shin guard foot sandwiches?
Had one yesterday.
How'd it taste?
You know, well, if you put some pickles on it and a little bit of olive oil, it's not so bad.
Tabasco sauce kind of hurts.
Yep.
I've had a few. They don't taste good. They don't feel good. And Frenchie will tell you that.
He certainly looks it. Here's a question from Drew Malin or Drew Mallon. Who do you think will lead the Royals in home runs this year?
I'm going to say Billy Butler.
Ryan?
I think I'm going to stick with Hosmer. I think Billy will probably lead the team in doubles, or at least be near the team lead in doubles. That's just more his game. And I think when it's all said and done, he may not be able to recover and have a great batting average this year, but I think when it's all said and done, that when the season's over, the numbers will be more than respectable, and he'll have a full season of major league experience under his belt.
I think Moustakas could one day do that, but he's maybe in the early stages as well.
This is a good sprint poll question. I'm going with Moose,
who right now has 4, and Butler and Hosmer have 5. Alex Gordon also has 4. Harris catching Marlon Byrd, who went on first movement, 2 outs.
Good move by Mijares.
2 outs, 2 strikes. You got another one, Joel?
That's a lot of pressure, although you and I have done that before fairly well, right? Just some more questions about Jake Oder. Is he similar to Will Myers? A lot of people asking about him, and he has been fantastic in AA. And this organization has shown that they're not going to jump guys right from AA to the big leagues. And Rex, you mentioned it. it doesn't need to be a rush with these young kids. They're going to go AA to AAA is the next step.
Maharis strikes out 2, and he has 3 since coming into the 7th inning. So to the bottom of the 8th, and it's still a 1-run game. By authority of the Kansas City Royals, they may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Kansas City Royals Baseball Corporation. Ryan Lefevre, Rex Hudler, Joel Goldberg, with director Steve Kurtenbach, producer Joe Lavero, associate producers Al Broughton, Sam Abramson, and the rest of our Fox Sports Kansas City crew. And tonight, we are -1 of our crew members, a very important crew member, Richard Harlan, who is our technical director. And Richard is away from us for a couple of days to take care of a medical issue, but we hear he is at home recuperating, feeling great, and we all say, get well, Rocket. Rocket Harlan. That looks like Camden Yards behind him.
All right, get on base. Try it again. They had a chance last inning and didn't work out.
Bard is just at 90 pitches in 7+ innings. He has tied his season and career high with 7 innings. He's gone 7 innings and 6 1/3 in a couple of starts before tonight. Leadoff walk. No! Chris Guccione pulls Dyson back into the batter's box.
Looked like it tailed out of the strike zone a little bit.
Just a little bit.
Wow.
That is ball 4. So it costs Bard another pitch. And that's his 3rd walk. And here's Josh Bard with that great arm at the back end of the Red Sox bullpen before this year. And he has 1 strikeout in 7 innings.
Well, he's not going pedal to the metal. As a reliever, you can come in and it's like a dragster going down the drag strip. You just blow it out and go. You have to pace yourself, mix in your secondary pitches, condition your arm by throwing long toss out there so you can go this long. He's a pitcher, a starting pitcher, doing a good job.
And timeout was called right before the pitch.
See, now Guccione does not have to give time to the hitter if he calls for it. I remember being in the batter's box and calling time, and he never gave it to me, and the pitch was thrown. And then I'd step out of the box and he'd say, hey, let me know sooner. See, look, that's too late. Guccione doesn't have to give it to him. Pitcher's already in his windup. You don't want to stop him. Cause an injury there.
And that's ball 1 to Alex, who has grounded out to second base 3 times against Bard tonight. 2 hits last night, 8 hits on the homestand. He's been on base 11 times.
If a pitcher hurts himself on a play like that where the umpire calls time while he's in his windup, then they'll have to look at that.
Well, Bard did the right thing to continue to throw the pitch even though timeout had been called. And when they hurt themselves, it's when they're accelerating to throw a pitch in the mid-90s, and then they just try and stop right in the middle.
I'm glad it didn't happen. So Gordon, he's been getting a lot of hard fastballs in on his hands. And Bard wants to throw a fastball because Dyson has a chance to steal it, cuts the time down, and helps the catcher shop it.
So what do you do now if you're Alex? You cheat a little bit, you open up your hips, assuming maybe move off the plate, figuring they're going to keep pitching you in?
It depends on if Dyson has the green light over there to go on any pitch he wants, or if it's a sign given by the third base coach, Eddie Rodriguez, and the hitter can see that. You take part of a guy hitting second behind a speedy base stealer is to take some pitches. Let him try to get down to second base.
He's not running, and it's 2-0. Might hear some of the fans who are yelling balk, and they don't think that Daniel Bard is balking, but the last time the Royals scored against him was in the second inning when he balked twice, including when Eric Hosmer was at third for a run. Way outside, 3-0.
Okay, now sometimes just the thought that Dyson, just the threat he is a base stealer at first base, does the job. So you can tell it's throwing Bard off of his concentration here. It's getting late for him. Sure that they got a reliever ready in the pen. And this is not a 3-0 swing right here. You want to get him to walk you, take a couple pitches, see if he can get on base and let Billy Butler hit.
And almost hit by the pitch, so it's back-to-back walks. And it brings Bobby Valentine out of the third base dugout. Chevy call to the bullpen. Royals down by 1 in the 8th. The 8th, he walks Dyson and Gordon. Royals down by 1. We told you earlier, Joel shared with us that Josh Hamilton has a 4-home run game. The Royals will be facing the Rangers on the next road trip. This is at Baltimore tonight. Adam Jones almost caught the first one. So to center field, to left field, to center field again. So 3 home runs to center field. He didn't pull one of them, and it's a 4-home run game.
Ooh, he's locked in. Hope Billy Butler's locked in here.
Matt Albers. And Billy Butler, you know, he wants to redeem himself from last night. He'll get a shot at Albers. Remember last night, a very similar situation, a starting pitcher getting into trouble late in the game. And Vicente Padilla replacing Felix Doubront to face Alex Gordon, who grounded into a double play with the bases loaded, and that was a 1-run game.
Okay, he's got a hard fastball, 87 to 93 slider, curve and a changeup, but he went in hard on Billy Butler. Billy Butler was guessing fastball, but it was just in on his hands.
One and one. Billy is 1 for 3 tonight, and he's 1 for 3 against Albers.
Albers has just given up a 138 average to righties. It's pretty tough on him. He's going to sink his fastball. Billy wants to try to find a hole.
Belted to left field. Billy comes through tonight. Splash.
Billy Butler guessed fastball again. After the first swing, he didn't look comfortable on it. They came right back, and he says, I'll match that one. That ball took a drink, and 3 steaks went with it.
Change up for a strike to Eric Hosmer. Well, the game can be so cruel, but you play every day, and that's how Billy puts last night behind him. Comes up with a big hit to put the Royals in front by 2.
Oh, talk about a lift.
Two and one to Hosmer. Still nobody out, so the 2 walks turn into runs. Hosmer singled and scored in the 2nd inning. This is his first at bat against Albers. Three and one. 5 runs allowed by Daniel Bard, and 2 of them coming after he left the game. Three and two.
That makes 6 homers now for Billy Butler. That leads the team on May 8th.
Marlon Byrd toward left center field. That's out number 1. And now Albers will get Jeff Francoeur.
Okay, he's trying to get that ball in, and Billy Butler knew it was coming. That's a nice, easy swing. He didn't overswing. He just met it.
And now Francoeur, and he's lucky to still be in the game after his collision with Kelly Shopik at home plate last inning.
Very fortunate.
Francoeur walked in the second and then singled leading off the 7th inning. So he's hit in 5 in a row and has added 5 points to his average. One and two. Again, Marlon Byrd making the play. 2 outs.
Yeah, there's no doubt his fingers aren't exactly 100% right now. That's his bottom hand. That's the hand that does most of the work as a right-handed hitter.
Moustakas is 1 for 3 with a run scored back in the 2nd inning. Royals with 2 big innings, at least under the definition of a big inning. 3 runs or more. A 3-run second, a 3-run 8th. Bobby Valentine will go to lefty Andrew Miller to face Moustakas with 2 outs, and the Royals in front by 2 in the bottom of the 8th. Before tonight's game, but he allowed a 3-run home run to Billy Butler, and the Royals go from 1 down to 2 up. And now Andrew Miller, who is pitching out of the bullpen. The Royals have seen him 4 times as a starter, and his ERA is over 8. So we're seeing a couple of first-round picks out of the University of North Carolina. Daniel Bard, drafted by the Red Sox in the first round out of North Carolina in 06. The same year that the Tigers took Andrew Miller, and that was a pitcher the Royals were rumored to be taken when they had the first overall pick in 06. They took Luke Hochevar, and it's been a tough road to get to the big leagues and stay in the big leagues for Andrew Miller.
Hey, with that explosive fastball, 3/4 sidearm delivery, that gets on the lefty pretty quick. He's got a little slider to work with that. Break away. See, and now that he doesn't have to be a starter, he can come in and go pedal to the metal and throw 97 every time.
Two and two. And he strikes out Moustakas to end the inning. But the Royals come up with 3. They get 2 walks. And Billy Butler hits his 6th home run to put the Royals in front.
Pilot the Bombardier.
The top of the 9th inning. And before we get to the 9th, here's the AT&T Uverse Reverse Replay.
Harris, go ahead and come in and keep him right the arm. Man, I'll tell you, he looks good. Good fastball, breaking ball, throwing strikes. That's what you need from a guy coming out of the pen. And with that 3-run homer, he hopes he wins.
That is if Jonathan Broxton gets the job done, going for his 6th save and his 7th opportunity. And the Red Sox will have the top of the order: Aviles, Pedroia, and Ortiz. And ahead with strike 1. He in his last 3 appearances, we know he throws hard. We know he's got a good slider. He's had outstanding control. Just keep everything down and away. And that's where Pena is set up. That was up and away and fouled away.
His velocity is good. They weren't sure what to expect from the big fella after he had a tune-up on his elbow after the season last year. So they took a chance. Said, we need some more veterans in the bullpen. And they're pleasantly surprised that his velocity is back to where it was when he was a closer for the Dodgers, in the mid to upper 90s. And also that slider he's using. He used to have a really good split finger, but it bothered his elbow.
And Aviles strokes a slider into the corner and just foul. Aviles doubled and scored in the 4th inning. He's 1 for 3, and this is his first ever at bat against Broxton. Another good night for the bullpen so far. a better slider. And Dyson comes up in center field, one down. And now Pedroia, who has 2 RBIs, one with a bases loaded walk and one with a 2-out RBI single in the 4th. Ball 1 and 95. Pedroia has faced Broxton once and he is single. Red Sox scored 2 in the 2nd inning. Royals got 3 in the 2nd. And then Boston with runs in the 4th and the 5th. All 4 runs charged to Danny Duffy. Duffy went 4 in a 3rd. Sounded like a cracked bat. Moustakas clogs the hole on the left side and throws out Pedroia. So Ortiz comes to the plate with nobody on base.
Exactly what you want to see. That's what the fans here at the K want to see. One more out.
You know, he's just not playing well. Just really seems to be playing with a lot of confidence at third base.
It's because he's good and he knows it. And he expects to play that way in front of his home crowd and for his team when he's not at home. And we've seen moose antlers in Minnesota and some of the different places we've been. Moose has got some fans. He's a young star in the making.
0-1 to Ortiz. So the Red Sox, with those runs in the 4th and the 5th, they led 4-3 till the bottom of the 8th when Billy Butler hit a 3-run home run against Matt Albers. Hit well to center. Dyson is right there, and the Royals even the series. Billy Butler with a 3-run home run, his 6th of the year, 23 RBIs. And again, last night with the Royals down by 1 in the 7th inning, Billy came up with the bases loaded and 1 out and grounded into a double play. He was able to redeem himself tonight with a long home run to left, and that was the game winner.
Yeah, that's a huge lift. And he's, their veteran guy. That homer spoke volumes there. Now they got a chance to get the series tomorrow before they head on the road. Big hit. And Danny Duffy, he kept his team in the game. He may not have had his command, but he didn't give up any big innings. And the team won the game he started. That goes in a positive category.
Did not give up a big inning. And then the bullpen picked him up with 4 2/3 scoreless, with Jonathan Broxton getting his 6th save. 6-4 Royals down to the field, and here's Joel.
Ryan, thank you very much. We are joined right now down on the field by Billy Butler. Had the big game-deciding home run, and you're facing the hard-throwing Daniel Bard, and suddenly you see Josh Albers coming in. You faced him a few times in your career. What's the thought process?
I was just trying to get a pitch up that could lift in the air, and he lifted the 2-seamer up, and got the barrel on.
I know that you're never trying to hit home runs, but how long did it take you to realize that was out? About half a second?
Yeah, I knew it when I hit it, and it felt real good, and I knew it gave us the lead, and then we had Brox coming in.
For this team right now, you've had your struggles, but at this point of the homestand, 3-3 against the Yankees and the Red Sox. What does that mean? And of course, what will tomorrow mean?
Tomorrow's for a winning homestand. We just want to win a series here, and it's a good split right now. We come back after yesterday, and want to win a series tomorrow.
Final thing for you, Danny Duffy, not his best stuff, but he hangs in there, and you guys are able to hang in there with him. What was the key to that?
It was big for us to come from behind. We've been struggling, obviously, as a team, and for us to have a comeback win, it was big for us.
Nobody coming from over your shoulder. You're safe. Thanks, Billy.
Thank you.
All right, that is Billy Butler with the big home run, and he tips his cap to the crowd. We'll be talking much more about it coming up on Boulevard Royals Live. Ryan?
All right, thank you, Joel. So the Royals can win the series tomorrow and have a winning homestand thanks to Billy Butler's 3-run home run in the 8th. We'll be right back.